JD Vance is really bad at this. And I'm excited that I get to talk for the next 13 minutes about how much I hate this chameleon of a guy who is amoral, who is directionless, who is faceless, who will shape himself into whatever object or idea allows him to ascend to power most easily without care for anyone around him. Because that is exactly what he proved again tonight, at a Turning Point, USA event in which he debated students, one of which was a young woman who bravely pushed back on the disgusting immigration policies of this administration. The other, a young proud MAGA supporter, who actually called Vance out, and it was a disaster performance from him that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into that MAGA supporter who called out JD Vance, I want to start with a young woman who questioned him about not just his lack of principles, but how he has abandoned his wife and abandoned any idea about supporting America that he purports to care about.
On estrogen.
Yeah, I'm talking about hormone replacement therapy. That's what I'm talking about. Just to be respectful, let's keep it going.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Hello, Mr. Vice President. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to talk here today. I did not agree with many of the things that you said right ahead of this, but I don't think that's my point to discuss here. What I want to ask is, you are married to a woman who is not Christian. In her Wikipedia, I just looked that up. I wanted to know what her faith was. I didn't know this before. But she still calls herself Hindu. You are raising three kids in cultural, racial, religious household. How are you maintaining, or how are you teaching your kids not to keep your religion ahead of their mother's religion? Or how are you teaching them that your kind, they're that kind who got here just few years or few decades ago, is different or is better than your mom's kind who got here just a generation before? How are you balancing that? And when you talk about too many immigrants here, when did you guys decide that number? Why did you sell us a dream? You made us spend our youth, our wealth in this country and gave us a dream. You don't owe us anything. We have worked hard for it. Then how can you, as a vice president, stand there and say that we have too many of them now and we are going to take them out to people who are here rightfully so by paying the money that you guys ask us? You gave us the path, and now how can you stop it and tell us we don't belong here anymore? And one more thing, one more thing.
Sure.
Do you have to
There's a lot there. I don't know if I'm going to remember all this, but I will try.
I'm sorry. I had to say all of this, and please take it with due. I'm saying all of this with due respect.
Go ahead. Please.
I have no intention of causing a scene here or anything, but
we're not close to causing a scene.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
But we talked about Christianity, all of this. I'm not even Christian, and I'm here standing to so support. Why are we making Christianity one of the major things that you have to have in common to be one of you guys, to show that I love America just as much as you do? Why is that still a question? Why do I have to be a Christian?
Okay, so there was a lot there, and I'm going to try to respond to as much of it as I can. So on the question of immigration, so first of all, I can believe that we should have lower immigration levels, but if the United States passed a law and made a promise to somebody, the United States, of course, has to honor that promise. Nobody's talking about that. I'm talking about people who came in violation of the laws of the United States of America, and I'm talking about in the future reducing the number of people. Sorry, what?
May I continue on that? Because when you just said you are not stopping with the people who came here legally, right? But you are pushing out policies that hurt us. And these policies are not even solving the problems. These policies are just creating chaos.
Ma'am. Okay, so again, I'm gonna finish answering the question, and then if I've answered all 9 of your questions in less than 15 minutes, then we can keep on going. we got to have a little fun, right? So here's the thing. I can believe that the United States should lower its levels of immigration in the future, while also respecting that there are people who have come here through lawful immigration pathways that have contributed to the country. But just because one person or 10 people or 100 people came in legally and contributed to the United States of America, does that mean that we're thereby committed to let in 1 million or 10 million or 100 million people a year in the future? No, that's not right. We cannot have, I'll go and finish. We cannot have an immigration policy where what was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago binds the country inevitably for the future. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world. It's to look out for the people of the United States. Now, you asked a personal question about our interfaith household. And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff.
Now, I couldn't exactly tell if that young woman at the Turning Point event was there, because she wanted to bring up that question and those questions, very important questions, to J.D. Vance, or if she was actually a MAGA supporter. I really couldn't tell, because she said that she wanted to be here to show her support. I didn't know if that was for discussion, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that she made clear what is true about J.D. Vance, that he is a fucking fake. That is the one thing that is true about J.D. Vance, because there is no other truth about J.D. Vance. There is no grounding principle, some morality that he lives out, that guides him. He is willing to do whatever it takes to climb the ladder. That's all he cares about. And if that includes throwing his wife and his kids under the bus, mocking their faith, their heritage, J.D. Vance doesn't care. The man started this administration, lecturing us and the rest of the world that it was liberals and progressives and the Europeans who were attacking free speech. What has J.D. Vance done since he has said that in support of the Israeli government and the Netanyahu regime? If you speak out against a genocide, the U.S. government will use the power of the state not only to shut you up, but to jail you. So how America first is that, J.D.? Because that's what J.D. ended on being Netanyahu's bitch. Yeah, that's not very America first. Letting AIPAC make all the decisions about this administration's foreign policy. That's not very America first. Bailing out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion fucking dollars as you force children to starve at home as a political prop. That's not America first. That's J.D. Vance first. That's the bullshit that he wants to sell you. MAGA kind of understands it. They kind of understand at this point that he is bullshitting. And if you want a great example of that, just listen to the question that this MAGA kid, this MAGA supporter, 18-year-old young guy asked of J.D. Vance about the military and ICE raids we're seeing in blue cities.
Okay, first off, I just want to say I am a huge supporter of the Trump administration. I was 3 months too late to vote for you guys, but if I could have, I would have. So I'm a huge supporter of you guys before I make my argument. But there is something you guys are doing that is kind of disturbing me a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. You guys have sent the military into Washington, D.C. and a few other cities that I can't think of off the top of my head, which first off, they've had wonderful results. Like no one can deny the results of that. It's wonderful. Some might even say the greatest. Let's say we get a complete tyrant in office, and let's say Turning Point USA is having a huge protest against something really bad that we don't like, and let's say he's a president is saying that it's getting violent. How can we? I'm trying to think. My mind's kind of blank. What is the difference between what you're doing and how could we prevent someone from abusing that power?
Yeah. So look, I understand where the question is coming from, and I think it's a fair question. And it's going to sound like I'm being sarcastic, and it really is not meant in any offense. But when you talk about what could another administration do, to take a wild, hypothetical example totally off the top of my head, what if Joe Biden sent the Federal Bureau of Investigation to start arresting his political opponents? Okay? Here's something that I want conservatives, I want every conservative to remember. It's an important part of my entire political philosophy is we cannot be afraid to do something because the left might do it in the future. The left is already going to do it regardless of whether we do it. That is the takeaway of the last 40 years. And in particular, if you look at what we're doing, if Joe Biden wanted to deploy the National Guard to a red state in a place where the murder rate was twice what it is in third world countries to actually go after murderers, that would be a great use of the National Guard. Unfortunately, I don't think Joe Biden would use it like that. What I'm worried about, frankly, is what the far left already did with American law enforcement, and that is the thing that we have to prevent against. And the answer to that question is you make sure the people who did it face penalties for using the federal power against American citizens.
So it's clear to me that this kid isn't necessarily raising a problem with the raids themselves, but of course, he is already worried. And by the way, MAGA, you should be worried about the vengeance that's coming. And I'm going to call it vengeance. I think that we should lock up ICE. If you are an ICE agent, you've broken the law. You should be locked up. These guys are also domestic abusers, disproportionately more than other professions. So great, we'll get a bunch of other fucking thugs off the street. These disgusting white nationalist assholes, these Proud Boys, these Oath Keepers, lock them up. Seriously, Kash Patel, jail. Pam Bondi, same thing. Kash, you don't get to keep your 10-year term. Emil Bove, take him off the bench. This is a guy who has no regard for the rule of law. You should not be a judge in this country. There's gonna be some vengeance. There's gonna be some fixing of what they've broken, and that will require us breaking things. But let's get to the point of what this kid said. What he said was it was a recognition that they're committing crimes, that they're doing something wrong. Certainly, right? Because he's saying, I like these raids because they're targeting blue cities. But what if they did this to us? And what would this be? Would this be sending the National Guard into Mike Johnson's district? It's much more crime there than there is in San Francisco or LA or New York, so he doesn't care about the crime. But what he recognizes in that question, what he is concerned about, why he's confronting JD, and he did confront him, is that he recognizes what this administration is doing is fundamentally wrong. And it is not just Joe Rogan waking up to that fact. Every day is a guy who understood what Donald Trump wanted to do, who had Trump on his show to talk about mass deportations, clearly didn't understand what mass deportation meant, or he didn't care to look into it. But what he's realizing is that, yeah, what undergirds all of MAGA, this kid, is crime, is corruption, is using the state in all the ways that MAGA told us they were worried about, that they didn't want a big government surveilling them. What's Palantir doing? Why are we giving this money to Peter Thiel, who made J.D. Vance's political career? Why is Larry Ellison, who's about to get all your data on TikTok, who already owns so much of it via Oracle? Why is he saying that he's excited for Americans to be on their best behavior because we will surveil them? All of these guys, these big Trump donors, these big Trump supporters, the oligarchs, they want to build these profiles of you. They want to track where you are, what you say, how you think. And if it doesn't align with what Donald Trump wants, they'll come after you. We've already seen this, because that's what they want to do. And this kid, who in some ways supports it and others is skeptical, understands that is the Trump administration policy. It's to use the power of the state, as it serves Donald Trump alone to go after political opponents. So the little bullshit lie that JD tells there at the end about Joe Biden. 1, it's fucking bullshit. 2, it's what they're doing. And 3, yeah, when we're in power, buckle up. There will be accountability. There will be cause. JD Vance and his fat face and his fake fucking personality will not be president. So sorry, JD, but not really. And we're going to keep calling you out on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.